Yo young hey the high ne 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 young hey the high ne.
Welcome to Maidu Language Lesson 8. In this lesson, we'll add to our dialogue, we'll learn how to express possession, and we'll learn the special ways we refer to our relatives. Let's start with our dialogue. When you ask me, Hesasakare minki heskatom, this time I say, Yahamenkan, not good. Notice the men between the verb yaha and the kan ending. That means not. Repeat, Yahamenkan, not good. Then you are going to ask me, Homonim Yahamenkare, who is not good? Repeat, Homonim Yahamenkare. Then I say, Nikbekum itukan, my father is sick. Itu means sick or in pain. Repeat, Nikbekum itukan. Then you say, Hesaron makare, what's the matter with him? Hesaron by itself means why or how. Repeat, Hesaron. Hesaron makare means what's the matter with him, her, or them. Repeat, Hesaron makare. I say, Honko wabiskan, meaning he keeps coughing. Honko means cough. Repeat, honko. To show someone keeps on doing something, you can add webis to the verb before the kan ending. Honko webiskan. Repeat, honko webiskan. He keeps coughing. Then you say, hes yehepti, that's terrible. Repeat, hes yehepti. Then you say, wene medato, which means, here's some medicine. Wene means medicine. Repeat, wene. Now repeat, here's some medicine. Wene medato. How? You say, me pada, give it to him. Repeat, me pada. Then I say, hell, nikyahati ankano. So add this to your dialogue and practice. Now you have some variations. Now let's learn how to express possession. By that I mean, how do you say who something belongs to? In English, we usually just add apostrophe S to the owner, like Lily's basket, Lily apostrophe S. In Maidu, it's just as easy, except you add a K or Ki after the owner. Lilik lolo is Lily's basket. The K is the special glottalized K, but if it's at the end of the word, you can't always hear the difference. So repeat the word for Lily's basket, lilik lolo. Or you could say liliki lolo. How would you say the woman's house? Mun kaleki hebo. Repeat, mun kaleki hebo. How would you say the boy's dog? Mun pebek se, or mun pebeki se. As far as I can tell, the I in the Ki ending is optional and doesn't seem to change the meaning. Here's another one. A Chinese person is saine. Repeat, saine. A store is meitokum hebo. Meito means buy, so it's a house where you buy stuff. Repeat the word for store, meitokum hebo. If you add na at the end of hebo, it means to the house. Repeat, hebona. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, to the Chinese people's store, and repeat after her. How would you say Coyote's wife? Remember that wife is the same word as woman. Listen to Lena Benner say Coyote's wife.
Wepakle.
So repeat. Wepakle, Coyote's wife. Or you could say Wepaki Kale. Listen to Mame Gallagher say the white man's machine.
Wolaki machine.
Bassini is borrowed from English machine. Repeat, Wolaki basinim. Last time you learned the subject and object pronouns like I and me, he and him. There's another set of pronouns to know, and it's the possessive pronouns. These are words like my, your, his, their, our. Luckily, it's pretty easy. In most cases, you just add the ki we just learned about to the end of the object pronouns. Here's a chart showing the possessive pronouns. Let's add these to our knowledge. I will remind you of the ones we already learned for subject and object, and then I'll have you repeat the new one, the possessive one. So, ni is I and Nick is me, as you already know. Nikki is my. Repeat, Nikki. You know, ni always has to be different, so you aren't actually adding ki to the end, you're just adding an I to Nick. We two people is nisam. Us, two people, is nisa, and our, referring to two people, is nisaki. Repeat, nisaki. We, more than two people, is nisam. Us, more than two people, is nisa, and our, talking about more than two people, is niseki. Repeat, niseki. Niseki. You as one person is me, you as object one person is min, and your one person is minky. Repeat, minky. You for two people is minchem. You as object two people is minche, and your as two people is mincheki. Repeat, mincheki. You more than two is minsen. You as object more than two is minse, and your more than two is minsuki. Repeat, minsuki. He, she, or it is mum. Him, her, or it as object is mu, and his, her, or its as possessive is muki. Repeat, muki. Talking about they as two people is maichom. Two of them as object is maicho, and their two people is machoki. This is a little different because you might be expecting maichoki. Machoki. Repeat. Machoki. They all, as more than two people, is maisem. Them, more than two people, is maisa. And there, as more than two people, is maseki. Repeat, maseki. Let's listen to native speakers say some of these. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, Nisek habona, to our house. As you saw earlier, the na on the end of habal means two. This means to our house, all of us, more than two. So repeat after her.
Nisek habona.
Listen to Mame Gallagher say, his gun, Muki Pandaka. Pandaka means bow, but now also means gun. Repeat after her.
Muki pandakam.
Listen to Mame Gallagher say, Muki inyanam yalaluni. Yalalun means flute. Repeat, yalalu. The ni on the end of yalalu means with a flute. So repeat after Mame Gallagher when she says, with his Indian flute.
Maki Inyanam Yalaluni.
Listen to Mame Gallagher say, their dances, more than two people. Musek watemi. You know the verb watem, dance. If you add the letter I to the end, it makes it a noun, like a dance or dances instead of the action dance. So repeat after her, their dances.
Mushekwatemi.
Listen to Mame Gallagher say, my wife, Nikki Kale, and repeat after her.
Nikki Kale.
Now, I want to point out that the possessive pronouns we've been talking about can come before or after the noun. As some examples, tawali means work. Repeat, tawali. This is another example of what you just learned with watem, dance. Add the letter I to the end of watem and it becomes a noun, a dance. Tawal means work, the action, but add an I at the end and tawal becomes a noun, work or a job. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, Tawali Maki, his work or his job, and repeat.
Twali Maki.
So notice she said job his, which is another way to say his job in Maidu. Listen to Roxy Pakonam say, Soli Niki, my songs, and repeat.
Soli Niki.
Listen to Lena Benner say, his wife, both ways. Maki Kalem and Kalem Maki.
Maki Kalem. Kalem Maki.
Listen to Mame Gallagher say, her skirt, both ways. Nawasi is skirt. Repeat, Nawasi.
Maki Nawasi. Nawasi Maki.
Let's make sure you know how to say what your name is. Nikki Yam is my name. Repeat, Nikki Yam. Now I'll say it with my name. Nikki Yanka Khan Kalenim. Repeat after me, but with your own name. Nikki Yanka Khan Kalenim. Both Yam and your name end in M because of the equal sign verb kakan between them. Remember? To ask what is your name, you can say Minky Yang Hesim Makare. Minky Yam Hesim Makare. Repeat. There are other ways of talking about your name, so if you learn something different, that doesn't mean it's wrong. Let's ask it again. Minky Yam Hesim Makare. Now, answer that question with your own name. How would you say, my hand? I hope you said, Nikki Ma, or you could have said, Ma Nikki. How would you say, his house? Maki Habo, or Habo Maki. How would you say, our dog, talking about more than two people? Nisek se, or you could say niseki se, or se nisek, or se niseki. How would you say your car, talking to just one person? Car is kaleta. Minky kaleta. Repeat, Minky kaleta. How would you say our car, talking about two of us who own the car? Nisaki kaleta. How would you say your car talking to more than two people, maybe a whole family? Minsuki kaleta. Repeat. Minsuki kaleta. In all of these, you can say it in the other order if you want. Kaleta minsuki. Or you could say minsuk instead of minsuki. And if the car's the one doing the action, you would put an M on the end of kaleta. So there are some variations. How would you say your language talking to more than two people? Min suki weye. Min suki weye. Or you could say it in the other order. Weye min suki. And of course, since it's not in a sentence, you could say weye or weyem. Learn these possessive pronouns well. Put them on flashcards and memorize them. If you're in a class with other people, test each other like I just tested you, asking the other person to say my such and such, our such and such, with words you know. Now, there's a special way you talk about your relatives. When referring to anyone's relatives like mother, father, sister, brother, etc., you have to say who they belong to. For example, the dictionary form of mother is na, but you can't say just na by itself. You have to attach a short version of the possessive pronoun on the front of it, which is one of three things: nick, min, or me. Nickne is my mother. Minne is your mother. Mne is his or her mother. So you don't say nikine, it's nickne. It's a shorter way of saying Nikki. It's just Nick. And you don't say na by itself. You don't say makine, you say mene. So this is the same rule for almost all the relatives. This shortened possessive pronoun, either Nick, min, or me, is a prefix, which means it's become part of the word attached to the beginning. And it's used, again, for almost all the relatives. So listen to Mame Gallagher say, Nickne, my mother, and repeat after her.
Nickne.
Of course, if it's a subject of the sentence, it'll end in M. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, my mother, with M on the end, and repeat.
Nickname.
Listen to Roxy Pakanam say, mene, his or her mother, and repeat after her.
Mune.
Listen to Mame Gallagher say, your mother, minne, and repeat after her.
Minne.
In the past few lessons and in today's dialogue, we've heard the word for father, beka. Again, that's how it's listed in the dictionary, but you can't just say beka. You have to say whose father it is. So you're going to either say Nick beka, min beka, or me beka. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, my father, as subject of a sentence, and repeat after her.
Nick Beckham.
These special words for relatives are called kinship terms, and they're treated in a special way. Let's learn some more. Eti is the dictionary form for older sister. Maidu has separate words for older sister and younger sister. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, his older sister, and repeat after her. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, my older sisters. Notice she uses bomo, bunch, to show it's more than one. Repeat after her. Bonono is uncle. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, my uncle, and repeat after her.
Nick Bononum.
Kotol is grandmother. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, my grandmother, and repeat after her.
Nicotom.
Opa is grandfather. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, my grandfather, and repeat.
Nicopa.
Listen to Mame Gallagher say, my late grandfather, and repeat.
Nicopayatam.
Remember, when someone has passed, you should add yatam to their name or their kinship term. Paul is daughter. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, my daughter, and repeat after her.
Nick Paw. Nick Paw.
Tani means little brother, younger brother. In Maidu, there are separate words for younger brother and older brother. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, that little brother of mine, and repeat.
Nick Tani.
Now a couple of new words for you. Hoipai means follow, and as an adjective, hoipaim means the next one down, the one following. Repeat, hoipaim. Nik hoipaim matunim means my next younger brother. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, my next younger brother, and repeat after her.
Nikoipaim mutunim.
Hoyam means from before or a long time ago. Repeat, hoyam. It's actually the opposite of hoipaim, following. It means preceding, going ahead of. So what do you think maki hoyam makoto means? Literally, his preceding grandmother, but we would say great-grandmother in English. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, from his great-grandmother, and repeat.
Ki hoyam mikotonan.
The non-ending she adds to makoto, N-A-N, means from. You saw how na and a means to, as in Habona, to the house. Mame Gallagher is now saying from his great-grandmother. Listen again and repeat.
Ki hoyam mikotonan.
Have you noticed some variation in how to say these? Mame Gallagher says Maki Makoto for his grandmother, sort of doubling up on the his part, the Maki and the M. And she says Nick Matunim one time and Mum Nick Tunim another time for my little brother. So you have some leeway and some variations and choices when you're saying these. Now, what if you wanted to say our mother or father, etc.? The answer is you put Nisaki or Niseki in front of Nick Beka or Nick Ne. Or you could put Nisaki or Niseki in front of Mene or Mebeka. So repeat after me. Our, two of us's mother, Nisaki Nikne. Our more than two's mother, Niseki Nikne. How would you say our, two of us's father? I hope you said Nisaki Nikbeka. Also correct, Nisaki Mebeka. Or you could have said Nisaki Nikbekum with the M if he's the one doing the action. To say their two people's mother, you would say Machoki Mune. Repeat. To say their more than two people's mother, you would say Maseki Mune. Repeat. Maseki Mune. How would you say their two people's father? I hope you said Machoki Mabeka. How would you say their more than two people's father? I hope you said Maseki Mabeka. How would you say your two people's mother? Minchoki Minne. Repeat. Minchoki Minne. How would you say your more than two's mother? Minsuki Minne. Repeat. Minsuki Minne. How would you say your two people's father? Minchoki Minbeka. How would you say your more than two people's father? Minsuki Minbeka. If you want to throw in an adjective, a describing word for a relative, you need to tag on another possessive pronoun before the adjective. Notice Mame Gallagher puts a niki before the adjective wolem and then m on bacon. My white father, niki wolem mabacum.
Niki wolem mubekum.
His great-grandmother, Maki Hoyam Makoto. Nick hoi payim matunim. So, how would you say my Indian grandmother? Niki inyanam nikoto. Niki inyanam nikoto. Or you could say Niki inyanam mukoto. Remember, there are variations, but koto, grandmother, has to have nick or mu if you're going to say my. In the grammar book, end of lesson 6, there's a list of relatives that have to be treated this way. Parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, uncles, aunts, nieces, nephews, cousins, sisters, brothers, grandchildren, and daughters, and also the in-laws. Must have one of the short pronouns, either nick, min, or mu, attached to them as prefixes. Now, there are some exceptions. Husband and wife are not treated this way. For some reason, son is not treated this way, maybe because the word for son is also the word for any random child. You say Niki te and Niki pube, but daughter is Nikpo. Listen to native speakers say the words that are not special kinship words. Listen to Lena Benner say Muki Kalem, his wife.
Muki Kalem.
Notice she doesn't say Mukalem. Listen to Mame Gallagher say my husband.
Niki Yapi.
Notice she does not say Nick Yapi because Yapi, husband, is not a special kinship term. It also means male, so maybe that's why. Repeat after her.
Niki Yapi.
Listen to Mame Gallagher say my son, Niki Pube.
Niki Pube.
Notice she doesn't say Nick Pube because the two words for son, Pube and te, are not special kinship terms. The word Heska, relative, is also not treated in a special way, maybe because it can mean friend as well as relative. Listen to Roxy Bacanum say, my female relative, Nikki Heskum Kalem.
Nikki Heskum Kalem.
Notice again, she says Nikki Heskum, not Nick Heskum, like the special kinship terms would have. So you have to memorize these. Husband, wife, son, and the word relative are treated just like regular words in Maidu, so they take Minki, Muki, and Nikki, not the short ones. Now, relatives can also own something, so you would just put a K or KI at the end of the word for the relatives. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, my uncle's name, Niki Bononoki Yam, and repeat after her.
Niki Bononoki Yam.
I'm not sure why she doesn't put a Nick or M on Bononoki. We heard her earlier saying Nick Bonono. Listen to Roxy Bacanum say, it's my mother's song, Nick Neki Solinkakan, and repeat after her.
Nick Neki Solinkakan.
Listen to Mame Gallagher say, staring at his sister's butt. Ino means butt. We've learned chanu as watch over, but it also means stare at. Listen and repeat after Mame Gallagher saying, Maki maetik ino chanudo.
Maki maetik ino chanudum.
You'll have to wait till intermediate Maidu when we listen to the full recordings to find out the whole story of why he ended up staring at his sister's butt. Listen to Mame Gallagher say, Sumtonum was my mother's father. Sumtonum kakan nick mabekam.
Sumtonum kakan nick mabekam.
Repeat. Sumtonum kakan nick mabekam. Notice the name Sumtonum ends in M and Mabekam also ends in M. That's because of the equal sign verb kakan between them. Remember that? So let's run through some of these. Let's say some of the kinship words you learned with all three prefixes. I'll say the word in English like mother. Then we'll say nikne, minne, and munne. And you repeat. Nikne, minne, munne. Father. Nikbeke, minbeke, mubeke. Grandmother. What's the dictionary word for grandmother? Koto. Nikoto, minkoto, mukoto. My grandmother, your grandmother, and the grandmother, or his grandmother. Grandfather. What's the dictionary word for grandfather? Opa. Nik opa, min opa, ma opa. That's my grandfather, your grandfather, and his grandfather, or the grandfather. Daughter. What is daughter in the dictionary? Paw. Nikpaw, minpaw, mapaw. My daughter, your daughter, and his daughter. Cousin is posi in the dictionary. Nik posi, min posi, me posi. That's my cousin, your cousin, and the cousin, or his cousin. Now let's see if you remember those. How would you say your grandmother? Min koto. How would you say the daughter or his daughter? Mapo. How would you say your father? Minbeke. How would you say my daughter? Nikpo. How would you say my cousin? Nikposi. Now getting a little trickier, how would you say our, the two of us's, mother? I hope you said Nisaki nikne. Repeat, Nisaki nikne. How would you say their, more than two's, father? I hope you said Maseki Mabeka. Repeat, Maseki Mabeka. How would you say your, the two of you's, cousin? I hope you said Min choki min posi. Repeat, Min choki min posi. How would you say my good cousin? This is actually in the old stories where Coyote, who calls everyone Nick Posim, cousin, is trying to flatter someone. My good cousin. I hope you said Niki Yaham Nick Posim. Repeat, Niki Yaham Nick Posim. When you're calling out to someone, you put the M on the end. So if you're calling out cousin, say Nick Posim with the M on the end. How would you say our, all of us's, relative? This was a trick question. Heska, relative or friend, is not one of the special words that need a prefix. So you would just say Niseki Heska. Repeat, Niseki Heska. How would you say your big daughter? I hope you said Minki Tetem Min Po. Repeat, Minki Tetem Min Po. Remember, when you throw in an adjective like tetem, you have to add another possessive pronoun like minky before the adjective tetem. How would you say your big son? This is another trick question. Son or child is not one of the special kinship terms, so you would just say minki tetem te. You don't have to put a prefix on te. Minki tetem te. Repeat. Or minki tetem pebe. How would you say her husband? Again, yepi, husband, is not one of the special kinship terms, so you would just say maki yepi, her husband. Repeat, maki yepi. So as I mentioned, lesson 6 in the grammar book has a list of the special kinship terms that take these 3 prefixes. So memorize the ones that are important in your family. I will add more of these kinship terms when I revise the book, since I found out about more of them. There are words for aunts and uncles, cousins, and in-laws based on which side of the family they're on. And there are more words for grandchildren, step relationships, and so forth. So I need to add those. And I will post some of this information on our Facebook page. Practice saying the ones you have for your family, especially with the nick prefix, to talk about your own relatives. I think it would be good to fill in a genealogy chart with names of your relatives, just to help you associate that relationship with the mighty word for that relative. So try to memorize the ones you will use. Next time, we'll start a new dialogue where we introduce ourselves, talk about our name and our relatives, where our families are from, and all of that good stuff. So get ready for that by understanding everything we covered today. Yahat bispada, chamakas min chaimin.